Hello YouTube, it's me, the Duke, Mark, whatever you want to call me. I know I haven't made a video in quite some time, and I'm sorry about that. My sister, she kind of dropped out of YouTube, and then I dropped out of it. It's been a long time. Anyways, I'm here to tell you that from now on, I'm going to be releasing videos twice a month, once every other week. I'm going to be primarily doing video game reviews, and let's get started. Alright, today I'm going to be talking about Pokemon X and Y. They're a little kiddish, but I love Pokemon, always have since I was a kid. These are some of the more darker games I've ever played. The whole concept is this is a Pokemon of Death and Pokemon of Life, which is creepy as shit for me in comparison to most Pokemon games. These are the first games to ever introduce the concept of Mega Evolution, which, if you can see right there, is a Mega Mewtwo X. Only two, in case you're wondering, I said Mega Mewtwo X. It's because only two Pokemon got two Mega Evolutions, one for each of them game, Charizard and Mewtwo, which I think is kind of unfair to the other Gen 1 starters. The game is really fun. It takes it away from the old 2D boring graphics and adds a whole new three-dimensional concept. It's just a really good addition. I actually haven't played Pokemon in a long time until these games. They got me back into it just considering I saw the commercial and I was like, holy shit, Pokemon's advanced. I want to play. Also, some of my friends suggested it to me. The video games in total are relatively easy, like most Pokemon games, but they're simple and they're fun, and that's what I think a video game should be. It's fun. The Megas for this game, like I said, are based off Life and Death, and they both look pretty kick-ass. You can see them on the front here. That's X, his name is Xerneas, and Y. Mega Evolution, I'm jumping back to that, sorry for jumping all over the place. It only applies to a few Pokemon, and you get a Mega Bracelet after so long, and you need to equip Pokemon with certain Mega Stones that apply only to them, which is good. The amount of Pokemon that they have that can Mega Evolve is relatively small in these games, which upsets me, and a lot of the Pokemon that when I heard about Mega Evolution, I thought should have gotten Mega Evolution, didn't really get them. I definitely wasn't expecting the Gen 1s to get them, but I saw the commercial and it showed Charizard, so I guess I should have. But Mega Evolution overall seems, I mean, it increases the overall stats by 100, but I feel like it's not as good as some people make it out to be. It's very limited. You can only do it with one Pokemon throughout the whole battle, even if you have multiple Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, and it's just not as good as I was expecting. The limit of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve is what really gets me, because only a handful can, and that's just a shame, because so many Pokemon that are so great don't get enough love as they can. Now, these games, they go back to some of the concepts of Gen 1, like the Snorlax on the bridge, and Lapras that you get for free, and I really like that. I like the fact that they're getting back to some of the basics they originally came out with. Also the Gen 1 starters, of course, they brought that back. The starters for this game, I'm not gonna lie, they're not my favorite. They're probably actually my least favorite. Fennekin, the fire starter, evolves in, I don't like its final evolution. Its second evolution is good, and I like its first evolution. It's cute as shit. Froakie, which evolves into Frogadier and then Greninja. I like his first form a little. His second form's kind of weird, and I do actually love his third form, Greninja. But I do believe he's a little too blown out. Like, just too much attention is paid to him. Now, the other one, Chespin, he's the one I actually picked when I first started the game, and I regretted it. Deeply regretted it. I've always given love to the grass starters, considering they're normally abandoned, like Bulbasaur in the original generation. But Chespin just did not have very good stuff. I mean, he was good, he was pretty decent stat-wise and all that compared to most starters, and his evolution levels were a little higher than some, though. But is it him? Never mind. And I just feel like a lot of his evolutions weren't very good. They were kind of ugly. Here's the first starter for Chespin. That's Chespin. He eventually evolves into Chestnut. And I feel like his second evolution is kind of ugly, and his third evolution just looks weird and it's confusing and stupid. I do not love Chespin, even though I got him myself. Anyways, this game also brought in a third legendary Pokemon called Zygarde. Zygarde's, I don't know much about Zygarde, I don't get him. I guess he's the Z to the X and the Y, which I can't understand, but they don't really understand much about him. He's in a cave, and in the cave are some items that make some of the legendaries from past generations stronger. He's a green worm, snake-looking thing, and I don't understand him at all. I mean, I'm sure the show probably explains a bit more about him, but I do not watch the show. I haven't watched Pokemon the show since like Misty was there. So that's been a while, I guess. I watched like 2 episodes with May, but didn't like it. Anyways, back to the video games. The storyline overall is pretty good. I like the fact that instead of having only one rival, you have 4 rivals that challenge you in different ways. For example, there's this girl. She's your main rival. And I like that. She's the one you actually fight the most. She's the only ever the one that masters Mega Evolution. And she's my favorite rival. Then there's another girl, and she's kind of weird. I feel like she has a romantic interest in me the whole time. There's a small red-headed boy. I'm so sorry I don't remember the name of any of these people. There's a small red-headed boy, and he challenges you not to battles, but to Pokédex battles, which is really neat. It inspires you to, you know, try and catch them all, which I always feel like there wasn't much inspiration to do that. Like, at the most, you get a little stuff like, ah, you did it! Yippee! But that's all that's ever been there. Anyways, another thing that this game introduced was Pokemon, Poke-Amy. So I didn't remember the name of that. It's where you play with your Pokemon, and I think that's really cute, but it doesn't serve much of a purpose. Even in Pokemon, you have to fully level up their friendship before they'll evolve. It doesn't affect them. It won't let them evolve. Leveling up the friendship is the same as it's always been, which I feel like it kind of makes it useless. I mean, it's cute, and you get to play with Pokemon, even the big ones like Mewtwo. Fucking, you get to pet Mewtwo, which is kind of neat. But overall useless. Super training is really cool. I think it was a neat way to replace the items that you used to have to buy to increase their stats. And I like the fact that there's a cap on it, just like with the items. And I like the fact that they both run off the same thing. Like, you can't max it out in Super Training, then use all the items and just make your Pokemon ridiculously OP'd. But they make a pretty good system out of it. Another thing that they introduced was the GTS. I love the GTS. Being able to trade with people all over the world, just through Wi-Fi and the beauty of the 3DS. I love it. I love the fact that you can deposit Pokemon asking a certain Pokemon, and maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. You can look for Pokemon and give them the Pokemon they want. It's just a really good system, and I like Wonder Trade. I mean, it's a little silly, because you have no idea what you get, and the majority of people just put in really crappy Pokemon. So you'll normally just get random crappy Pokemon you never needed, but if you didn't capture a lot of Pokemon in the beginning, it can actually be relatively useful. I personally like putting in Pokemon with wrong names. Like, one time I put in a Charizard that's name was Wartortle. Why? Because I can, because America. Finally, the last thing they added in this game was a whole new typing called Fairy. Along with Fairy came a lot of speculation, because Fairy is a little OP'd. It's pretty powerful compared to some of the other types. It's ridiculously strong against Dragon type. Dragon type moves don't affect it. It's just pretty powerful. I think its weakness is Rock. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Do not quote me. If you're in a big battle in Pokemon, don't quote me. Go look it up. And along with Fairy type, they also added in another evolution for Eevee, which I like Eevee. I really do. He's one of my she, whatever it is. Well, it's both. It can be both because it's a Pokemon. I feel like it gets either gets more or less love than it deserves. More love because some people are like freaking out going, or less love because people are like, oh, it's over popular, I don't like it. And I don't get that. It's a good Pokemon, its stats are kind of crappy, and how you have to evolve some of them is kind of weird. Like, the initial 3 that they came out with, I really liked. You know, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon? Espeon and Umbreon were pretty good too, though evolving them was weird. Leafeon and Glaceon I'm actually not fans of. They're pretty powerful and all, but the problem is that they're weird to evolve. You have to evolve them in level them up in specific places, which I don't like. I just don't like it. I know there are other Pokemon like that, but I don't like it at all. I'm sorry, people. Anyways, but the newest Pokemon, the newest Eevee they added, you can see it right there, is called Sylveon. Sylveon's a little weird. You have to level it up with max friendship, And it has to know a Fairy-type move, which Eevee learns a few natural Fairy-type moves like Baby Doll Eyes. It's okay. I don't personally like how it looks too much. And I think it's kind of weird to introduce a new type they just slapped on Eevee. I mean, they didn't do that for Steel, even though that'd be so cool. Steel Eevee. Anyways, I feel like I've probably been rambling on too long. The one major problem I find with this is, despite them having added Mega Evolution, they didn't give any of their legendaries that are exclusive to this game or any of the starter Mega Evolution, which I feel like they could have really done better on. I feel like they missed out on a whole big opportunity. I guess they're just saving it for another time or whatever. Well, anyways, that's about all I can say without spoiling too much of the game. Oh, one more thing. They did add another thing from Gen 1. They brought it to where you can capture Mewtwo, and he comes with a Mega Stone depending on which game you have, which is fantastic. And it's just like the old one where you have to wait until you defeated the Elite Four, and there's a guy standing. It's just great. And there are Ditto in the field outside of him, outside of where he is. It's fantastic. Anyways, that's it. The Duke, signing out.